So why do people have such poor impact literacy? Why are we constantly getting involved in, starting up, or working with interventions or organisations that don't do a good job of delivering help to people who need help? Part of the reason is because most organisations, particularly non-profit organisations, are set up to benefit the person they are trying to get help from. The way they set about doing that is pretty cut and paste. There's a very repeatable formula that a lot of organisations do, and it's something that you might recognise as we work through the steps. Part of this is because of the sort of nature of mass media marketing and trying to get people engaged in a hurry and shortening attention spans. But there's been a few sort of negative side effects as a result of the way that charities in particular have been selling impact for the last, say, 40 years. So you'll start with a very visible representation of a problem. As very vision-based animals, it makes a lot of sense, and we're trying to stir sentiment really quickly, so we want to get there quickly. So we're going to show you something that immediately starts to get feelings sort of whirling around inside you. So cue the sick kid in the hospital, or people living in poverty, the homeless guy with a beard, these kind of avatars of disadvantage that we're really used to seeing. The next thing that will happen is the second thing, which will be to tell you that how bad this problem is, that this problem is the worst problem effectively. That's what we're trying to say. So they'll say, cue a huge stat. 100,000 people are homeless, 1 in 4 people carry the CF gene, 20,000 people a day die from malaria. Whatever the number is, you'll get a big stat. You'll get a stat. That's the next step. This problem is huge. It's ubiquitous. It is the biggest problem. It's the worst problem. Maybe you didn't realize, but boom, here's a big number. The third thing that happens after that is that the next step is to say that your intervention is the best intervention, because it doesn't really raise money to say, guys, we do this thing. It's about the 5th most important thing that can happen for people who are suffering from a problem. And it certainly doesn't sell if you say it's the 5th most important thing on a complex problem that has lots of touch points and requires a fair bit of effort to solve. So the next thing is to say your $5 changes someone's life forever. If you go and pat someone on the back once, you'll change someone's life forever. A small good deed is a great good deed. And you can change the world through tiny little interventions. And while strictly speaking, lots of tiny interventions might make up a big intervention, teaching people that little things change people's lives forever grossly oversells the impact that you have from a tiny little short-term intervention that doesn't actually finish the job. But in order to get you to participate in giving us something as a charity, the charity will try and sell you that so that they get your $5 or your lowest common denominator sort of effort in doing something that has nothing to do with your particular skill set. They will get a chance to engage you in an activity, and then hopefully they can raise money from you off that. So all those activities are then pointed at lowest common denominator skill sets that anyone can do who rocks up, regardless of who they are. So packing hampers, planting trees, soup kitchen stuff. And then you go and see, again, very visual, you see some stuff, and then you'll get a response, a sentimental response. Unfortunately, in that arc of the traditional method of selling charitable interventions, we've taught people that disadvantage is very visible, that it's simple, it's easy to understand, that there is a worst problem and that there is a best intervention to help people, and that your small intervention, if you just duck out of your regular life and do something, that you make a huge difference and you'll be able to help people and change their lives forever. The reality is that people who need help usually have very complex issues, that they require multiple touch points, that there is no one most important intervention, that it is completely relative, that there is no most important problem even, that a lot of people who are experiencing disadvantage which isn't visible are suffering multiple touch points of disadvantage. That short-term interventions are absolutely not the answer, that we need long-term interventions that carry on complex, integrated, multiple part, expert-led, skillfully applied interventions. And that if you were to give your best help, that your best help should not be some lowest common denominator, easy to do activity, that it should 100% be something at the edge of what you're really good at. We should be taking and utilizing people's skills and making sure that people in need are getting the help that they need when they need it for as long as they need it. And that help is the best quality help that they can get. Now, some places may then say, oh yeah, we take your skills and we use only your skills. But what they do with your skills is just put them into one single intervention, one single touch point. And again, they're not solving the problem for someone who needs multiple points of contact or multiple stages of intervention in order to get better. So you end up with these directories that are like, oh, if you've got skill X, we'll just match you with this other place that says that they need skill X. But none of that is pointed in any way at an outcome for people who need help. It's pointed at you getting a chance to use your skill that the organisation says that they need. But it doesn't guarantee that the person in need gets all the help that they need when they need it for as long as they need it. So what that's kind of like is like lining up all the tradesmen to build a house and saying, who's the most important trade? And getting them all to pitch you individually. The plumber says, we're the most important. Can you imagine a world without sanitation? Do you know how many people die because they don't have toilets? Or a world without running water? And we've got a Hemsworth in our t-shirt. And so there's our video and our pitch for the money. And then the carpenter comes in and says, we envisage a world where everyone has a roof over their head. A compelling sort of, reasonable sounding thing, absolutely. And then, the flooring guy comes in and it's a little bit niche, but he drops a big fact, says, 50,000 children die every year because they are sleeping on dirt floors and it spreads disease and it's not a good thing to have to live with. So you make a decision as a layperson to give all your money to the plumber because they had the most compelling story, the best sad video, the most sort of pictures going on, the black and white spiel. And it makes a lot of sense to you because, imagine not having a toilet or imagine not having water, running water. So you come back after you've given all your money to this organisation and they have built all the plumbing. And you look at it and you think, okay, but that's not a house. Job's not done. Plumber's like, well, we never said we were doing all of it. We said we were doing plumbing. And in fact, that plumber from almost every charitable assessment organisation can still get 5 stars based on a whole bunch of irrelevant metrics. Oh, maybe their overheads were low. They spent all the money on plumbing. They weren't, paying heaps of dividends. Financially, they were secure. All of these things that are entirely unrelated to whether or not a problem was solved or a job was finished. That's what it's like at the moment with people who need help because they might get heaps of funding for one particular intervention. But if you're a person in need and you need 6 interventions, then the job's not done. And if the job's not done, and if you can get a 5-star rating without finishing the job, leaving people still with poor mental health, still unemployed, still without housing, then the system is not doing a very good job. And so at JBN, much like if you went to build a house, you engage a builder to come in and make sure everyone comes in, everyone's resourced, people are skilled, people know what they're doing, they come in and out as often as required until the house is built. At JBN, it's the same mechanism for ensuring people get the help that they need when they need it for as long as they need it. Making sure that they're getting the right help from the right people, skillful people, to make sure that people in need end up housed, employed, and with good mental health. And it might take 50 interventions. It might take 6 years. It might take 6 months. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the outcomes are based on whether a person gets to an outcome, not whether an intervention was attempted or made. It's whether or not we solved the problem. So as long as that plumbing organisation is actually exceptional at plumbing, they still get a Guernsey. They still have an opportunity to participate in that system. But we can no longer keep walking around saying the plumbing is the most important problem, because there is no most important problem or intervention. People need help, and they need help relative to where they are and what's going on with them in that moment. If we wait too long, the help might change. If we get in early, then we might be able to solve it quicker. If we take our time, it might take longer to solve the problem. All of these things add to complexity that has never been sold to people looking to have an impact. And so now we have this explosion in social enterprises that are able to claim social enterprise status without ever solving a problem. Apart from the fact that they're just often giving money to charities. So, we're going to cut a percentage of our profits to an organisation, which is not being a social enterprise. That's just called tithing, and it's been around since churches worked out that it was an idea to, get 10% of someone's wage. It doesn't make you a social enterprise. And they're able to participate in helping organisations that, again, might not even do anything or might not solve a problem. When instead we should be investing in teaching people that continually striving to be excellent and raise the bar of what you're capable of in your skill set improves your capacity to help people, because someone who can play the cello at a level 10 can teach everybody, and someone who can play a cello at a level 1 can't really teach anybody at all. So put the time in to be really good, and then you're able to teach people, instead of diving into helping someone because you feel like sentimentally you'd like to have an impact in someone's life. Raise the standard so that we're making sure people get really good quality help, make sure that they get complete help, and make sure that the help is there for as long as they need it. And to do that, there is only one place in the whole world that's even attempting to solve that problem. It's the Just Be Nice project. And we're attempting to solve it because the charitable system as it is now does a really good job of making people feel like they're doing something without actually necessarily helping people completely. It's not to say that you're not helping people a little bit, or you're not having some positive impact, or you're not doing some good. But as far as we're concerned, some good is not good enough, that we need to start finishing the job, because we're leaving too many people hanging by not doing a good job of ensuring that they actually get to a point where they are then independent, they're happy and they're healthy, and they're able to go on and make the most of opportunities that come their way. And they identify opportunities, they understand the opportunities, and they're supported into those opportunities. Raising the bar for equality of opportunity is not a simple process behind the scenes. But as an interface, it can be very, very simple if you just keep organisations doing a better job of what they're doing, and you keep individuals doing a better job of what they're doing, and participating in a system and realising there is no one answer. We all have to work together. It's not negotiable. And we have to build that ecosystem that leverages everyone's skills and opportunities to their fullest and most practical extent, integrating it into people's day-to-day lives instead of constantly making it an additional burden for people to participate in the short term. And if we do that, we will actually be able to help people when they need it for as long as they need it. And that is the ultimate goal of the Just Be Nice project. So if you're looking for ways in which you can improve your impact literacy, change the way that you're helping, and make sure that the help that you're giving is actually part of a process that will finish the job instead of just doing a little bit of something and sort of walking away, then get in touch, because we'd love to have you on board. We'd love to have your organisation on board. We specialise in integrating this kind of impact into the day-to-day operations of our partner businesses, and making sure that everything that we do benefits everything that you do, so that we can build sustainable long-term relationships and an ecosystem of help that doesn't disappear when people's sentiment changes all the time. Keep on being excellent, and if you don't have time or you don't believe you have the time to jump in and support the Just Be Nice project, at the very least, every single day, every single interaction, just remember, just be nice.